Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good day to all my beloved students. Okay, so uh, in this video, I will try to focus on tips for your paper 2. Okay, so this is actually from my own personal analysis and my own gerak hati. Okay, so please don't rely on this 100%. Make sure you have done your revision for all the chapter. But I really hope some of what we discuss in this video will come out in SPM 2020. Okay, but if they does not come out, okay, jangan viralkan cikgu, okay? Alright, okay, so my only aim now is to help, at least, alright, to help you to understand, not only for SPM, but maybe you can use it in your life one day, alright? Aamiin Ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, so now, have you print screen this? Okay, so there are 10 chapter. Cikgu tak tengok the first chapter lah, I will just straight away to chapter 2, the motion, force and motion. Okay, so already print screen. Now, if let's say I want to discuss all the subtopic in one video, I don't think it is enough time. Okay, so if let's say cikgu ada masa, there will be part 2 for this paper 2 forecast, alright? Okay, otherwise it will be only this video. Okay, so please, please follow. Okay, hopefully some of what we discussed today will be beneficial to you, alright? Okay, for motion graph, we have 3 graphs. So we have displacement time graph, velocity time graph, and acceleration time graph. So I already draw for you. And then you look at the axis, okay, focus on the unit. So for displacement time graph, the vertical axis is in meter, horizontal axis will be time, second. And then now, make sure you know what does the gradient represent, okay? That will be quite simple. You can focus on the unit. Look at this. So gradient of ST graph. So the vertical axis, okay, divided by horizontal axis. Focus on the unit. So can see here meter, okay, divided by second. Okay, so the unit become meter per second. So this is the unit for velocity. So it means that the gradient of ST graph represent velocity. So remember that. Then for velocity time graph, the gradient represent, look at the unit. Okay, if you forgot, then you can use this method. So you divide the vertical axis unit, meter per second, divided by horizontal axis unit. So you get meter per second per second. So this is the unit for acceleration. So it means that the gradient for VT graph represent acceleration. Okay, and then for the acceleration time graph, you look at when we solve, we divide the vertical and the horizontal axis, we get this unit. So this is does not represent any physical quantity because the unit is meter second negative 3. Okay, so if let's say the question, let's say they give you graph of VT and ask you to determine acceleration, so you can look for the gradient. Okay, boleh faham? Next one. So what is the area under graph? So area under the graph, you just times, okay, darabkan the vertical axis unit and the horizontal axis unit like this. Okay, so if let's say for VT graph, ST graph, okay, like that. So nampakkah the vertical axis is in meter, horizontal axis is in second. So darab saja, you get meter second. So this one does not belong to any physical quantity. So just neglect this. But if you look at velocity time graph, okay, velocity time graph, can see the vertical axis is in meter per second. Horizontal axis is in second. So if you times this, simplify, so you see the unit is meter, which means the area under graph of VT will represent displacement. So this one will be displacement lah. Faham eh? And then for displacement, MENT. Okay, so for acceleration time graph, the area under the graph, okay, do the same thing. Okay, darab, then you get this unit. So this is meter per second, unit for velocity. Okay, alright. So if they ask you to describe the motion of the graph, okay, so you need to use the physical quantity in your answer. Example lah, let's say the graph is like this. Okay, for VT graph. Let's say the question asks you to describe the motion of this object. Okay, so your answer, you cannot say the motion is constant. That is wrong. You need to mention velocity is constant. Then diterima. Or if let's say you want to focus on the gradient which represent acceleration, you can also say the acceleration, the gradient is 0, right? So it means that the acceleration is 0. Boleh. So it means that for this motion, you can write the velocity is constant, or you write acceleration is 0. Okay, but if you just write motion is constant, that will be wrong. Clear? Okay, now we already know that the area under graph of VT, okay, area under graph of VT represent displacement. Okay, now if let's say we have two part, okay, like this, ada two part. So I can do, this is the area under graph, and this is another area under graph, this part. So we have A and B. Let's say this is B. So if the question asks you to determine total distance travel, okay, total ataupun total distance, jarak, jumlah jarak. So it should be A campur B. Okay, so you can use trapezium formula for A and then triangle formula for area for B. Alright, so if they ask for total distance, campurkan A dengan B. But let's say the question asks you to determine displacement, total displacement. Total displacement. So if total displacement, mesti tolak. So means this will be A minus B. Faham? And another question might be if they ask you for average speed. If average speed, purata laju, it will be total distance, means that A plus B bahagi dengan masa, the total time. So means that the total time will be, what is the time here? Okay, masa akhir. But let's say the question asking you to determine average velocity. Alright, let's say average velocity. So average velocity will be total displacement divided by time. So total displacement for this case is A minus B. Because why? B means moving in opposite direction. So divided by the time taken. Okay, so I think that is the only thing that penting for this part. Alright. So hopefully you can understand. So we look at Perlis 2020 motion graph. This come out in question number 1. So can see they give you displacement time graph, and then the first question asking displacement is a what quantity? Displacement is actually a vector quantity. Okay, bukan scalar. If they ask for distance, that will be scalar. Okay, displacement vector. Now, what is the meaning of displacement? So, displacement is actually shortest distance travel in a specific direction. Because displacement is a vector quantity, you must mention about the direction. Okay, so I can write answer as... Okay, so I can write my answer as shortest distance travel in a specific direction. Okay, next one. So state the physical, this one careful. State the physical quantity represented by the gradient of the graph. And then next question, state the time interval when it is stationary. So gradient of the graph, so can see here, vertical axis over horizontal axis, so means that meter divided by horizontal axis second. So this is meter per second. So it means that the gradient of the graph represent velocity. Okay, velocity. And then at which time frame is the time interval is the object is stationary. So stationary means it will be at the same displacement all the time. So means that here, this is when the object is stationary. So means that from t, so your answer will be from t equals 0 second until t equal here 8 second. Equal 8 second. Alright, so this is the answer for the object is stationary. And then another one is, since we know the gradient of the graph represent velocity, so if it is a straight line graph like this, so the gradient is 0. So means that at this case, this partner, so the velocity is equal 0 meter per second, which means the object is stationary. Okay. Okay, Terengganu 2020, graph of velocity time graph. Velocity against time. Okay, so what is the meaning of velocity? Okay, so velocity will be rate of displacement. Okay, rate of displacement ataupun kadar perubahan sesaran pun boleh. Ataupun you can write formula. Okay, you can write formula also. Okay, you can write like this. Displacement over time. This is also correct. Okay, ataupun rate of displacement. Okay, next question. So based on diagram 1, tick the correct answer in the box provided. Okay, look at the answer here. So the car move with constant acceleration at PQ. The other one is car move with zero acceleration at PQ. So this question is actually asking you to describe the motion of the car. Now look at the graph. So focusing on PQ. Alright, you look at PQ. Okay, focusing on PQ. So if you want to write about the motion of object at PQ, so this is constant velocity. So jawapan, you can write the car move at a constant velocity at PQ. And the velocity is 2 meter per second. So you can write constant velocity. Another one is you can relate to the acceleration because the gradient of VT graph represent acceleration. So can see here, since there is no gradient, so we can say that the acceleration is equal 0 meter per second, right? Because the gradient is 0. Now look at the answer. What choice do they give us? There, can see 0 acceleration. So this is the answer. It is not constant acceleration, right? Bukan constant acceleration. If constant acceleration for that graph, you should see constant gradient. If the graph has constant gradient, then it is constant acceleration. Now, which part has constant acceleration? Can see this part? This part. This is what we call as constant gradient, positive gradient. So at O until P here, the car is moving at a constant acceleration. What is the value? So you calculate the gradient. Okay, calculate gradient. Berapa gradientnya? Okay, this part lah. Means that 2 divided by 4. Okay, that will be the acceleration for O until P. Now, if the question asks you to determine the displacement of object, okay, total displacement, what should you calculate? Okay, displacement will be the area under graph. Okay, to confirm that, look at the unit. So, meter, second, -2. Then you times the horizontal axis, which is second. So, here you will get this is meter second -1. Okay, -1, right? So it will be meter. So means that the area under the graph represent the displacement. So you can use trapezium formula pun boleh guna formula segitiga, this part segitiga, right? Segitiga campur dengan segi empat. Like that also can. Alright. Okay, SBP 2020. So this is graph of displacement time. Okay, displacement time. Then look at the question. So define displacement. Sama macam question that we discussed just now. So cikgu skip. And then based on graph 2, diagram 2, state the type of motion. Do you see or not? Soalannya hampir sama. Type of motion of car at BC. Type of motion. Focus on BC. Alright, so this is displacement time graph. Okay, bear in your mind, for displacement time graph, the gradient represent velocity. Okay, gradient represent velocity. Now, you must know what is the gradient about. So for OA, if you see straight line like this, so this one is constant gradient. Okay, constant gradient. So cikgu just tulis constant like that, constant gradient. If you see horizontal line like that, means that the gradient is zero gradient. And then if you see graph like this, so this is also constant gradient but with negative value. Okay, constant gradient but negative value. And then here, this part just now, so this is positive gradient. Okay, now if let's say from B to C, so in this case the gradient actually increases uniformly. Okay, for BC is gradient increases uniformly. So since the gradient represent velocity, so our answer for BC will be velocity increases uniformly. Ataupun okay, if let's say we change this, velocity increases uniformly to a graph of VT graph, alright, VT graph, the graph should be like this. I'm talking about B to C. So if like this, it means that the gradient is constant, and gradient for VT graph represent acceleration. Okay, so we can say that acceleration constant. So ada dua jawapan. You can write velocity increases uniformly, terima, ataupun you write acceleration constant. Okay, there are two answers. Alright. Okay, next question. Calculate the gradient of graph at, see, focus, CD. Then they ask you, what is the physical quantity? What is the physical quantity represented by the gradient of the graph? Okay, so now you know the gradient of the graph, okay, which means, look at the unit, meter divided by horizontal axis, meter per second. So the gradient of the graph represent velocity, alright, remember that. Next one, they ask you to determine the gradient of CD. So in this case, focus on the coordinate. So C is 1810. Boleh tulis 1810. And then D, the coordinate for D is, okay, see here 22, 22, 0. So if you want to determine the gradient, cikgu guna symbol M for the gradient. Okay, so it will be y-axis, changes in the y-axis. So 10 minus 0 divided by changes in the horizontal axis, means that 18 minus 22. Okay, like that. So you tekan your calculator, you will see your answer equal to 2.5. Don't forget the unit. Okay, so now we know the unit is in meter per second. Mesti ada unit. So selalunya the substitute value here is the first mark, and then your final answer correct unit is the second mark. Okay, so hopefully you can understand this. Okay, we move on to refraction. Okay, so refraction. This is for Terengganu paper 2020. So can see here, the refraction occur when light travel through medium with different optical density. Okay, already mentioned. Travel when refraction occur when light travel through medium with different optical density. So diagram 5.1, 5.2 shows the specification of glass cup and the perspex cup respectively. So can see here. And then from here, can see this is glass, and then down here is perspex. Now you compare the refractive index. Let's say I'm using symbol N for the refractive index. So N for glass is 1.52. N for perspex is 1.49. So it means that N for glass is bigger. The refractive index for glass is bigger than perspex. Then you look at the speed of light in glass and then in perspex. So let's say I'm using C. Speed of light in glass is smaller compared to speed of light in perspex. Okay, like that. Alright, so look at this question. So based on diagram 5.1, 5.2, compare the speed of light in glass and perspex, then the refractive index. Okay, so we can already write our answer following this. Alright, so speed of light in perspex is faster. Okay, so speed of light here, okay, you can write speed of light in perspex is faster, or speed of light in glass is slower, or you can write, kejap, can you use symbol? You can also use 5.1 is shorter, is smaller compared to 5.2. Okay, then compare the refractive index. Okay, so in this case the refractive index for glass is more, okay, compared to the perspex. Next one, so using your answer, relate the speed of light to the refractive index. Then after that, relate refractive index and the optical density of the medium. Alright, so for C1, speed of light and the refractive index, you can use this. So can see this is besar kan, can put like that, higher. And then this one smaller kan. And then this one, the speed of light in glass is smaller, speed of light in perspex is more. So you can use this to write your answer. So you can write, the greater the refractive index, the smaller the speed of light. Okay, the greater the refractive index, the smaller the speed of light. So here boleh tulis greater, don't use symbol like mine, greater refractive index, smaller speed of light. Then they ask about the refractive index and optical density. So the greater the refractive index, the greater the refractive index means the denser it is. So it means that the greater the optical density. Okay, hopefully can answer that. But just now here, they ask for definition for refraction. So the keyword will be bending of light. Okay, due to the change in speed when it enter different optical density medium. Okay. Okay, next. Diagram 5.3 shows the position of image. Okay, position of the image seen by the observer when coin is placed in a glass of water. So this is the object, coin, and then this is the image, okay, which is slightly above the object. Now, so explain why the position of image coin is seen above the coin by the observer. So this question did not ask you to draw the ray diagram. Instead, the question asks you to explain. So if let's say you want to draw the ray diagram, okay, you should draw like this. Tapi the question did not ask you to draw. Tapi kalau nak lukis, it will be like this. So just pick one point. Let's say this is an object. Then you draw line from the object to the surface of the water. Hopefully I can draw clearly. Lurus like that, nah? Use your ruler like that. Then at the surface of the water, okay, you need to draw the normal line. Here also need to draw the normal line. Once it, okay, coming out from the surface of the water, the air is less dense. Udara di luar less dense. Water is denser. So means that the light will bend away from the normal line. Okay, keluar will be like this. Okay, like that. And then here, and then keluar, bend away, menjauhi garis normal. And if you want to determine the image, so just lengthen, okay, lengthen this, panjangkan, then you see it touch the image. So here is the image. Put I. Okay. Now, if you want to explain about this, so you need to mention about light. Where does the light travel from? Okay. So jawapan pertama, tick 1 will be when you say light travel. In this case, light travel from where? Okay, from water, right? From water to the air. Okay, dari air ke udara. That is mark number 1. And then tick number 2, you need to mention it bend, membengkok, away. Sebab from water to the air, denser to less dense. Okay, bend away from normal line. Okay, faham? E, when the water in the glass in 5.3 is replaced by olive oil with the same volume. Okay, so optical density of olive oil is higher than water. Optical density higher than water, so means that the refractive index of olive oil, okay, I put oil, is bigger than the refractive index of water. Now the question asking, so what happened to the position of the image? Position of the image of the coin seen by the observer. Okay, what happened to the position if you replace the liquid to a denser liquid? Now, so since they are asking about the position of the image, so you need to use this formula, refractive index equal to real depth divided by apparent depth. Okay, so we're focusing on the apparent depth. What happened to the apparent depth? Now in this case, the refractive index is bigger, but the volume of the liquid is the same. So means that the real depth is the same. So if let's say the refractive index is bigger and bigger, so means that D will be smaller. Alright, D will be smaller. So how do we measure the apparent depth? So need to look at this diagram. So here, this partner, so this is the object. So it means that from the surface of the water to the object, this is the real depth. I'm using capital D. And then from the surface of the water to the image, this is apparent depth. So I'm using small d. Alright, so when n is bigger, capital D is constant. So small d will be smaller. So it means that the image will be higher above. So it means that the image will be near to the surface of the water. So the answer will be the apparent depth decreases ataupun image will be become nearer to the surface of the water. That is the answer for this. Alright, so apparent depth become smaller ataupun the image become near to the surface of the oil in this case. Okay, harap-harap boleh faham. Okay, still refraction. Now look at Kelantan paper 2020. Okay, look at this question. So diagram 5.1 shows light travel from A into glass block. Okay, A into the glass block. And then second diagram shows light travel from A into a diamond. Okay, so here is the glass block and then this is the diamond. The incident angle is the same, which is 60 degree. Here also 60 degree. But the refracted angle is not the same. So can see that in glass, it is 35. And then in diamond, it is 21. So I can say now, if let's say you want to just tuliskan what is the detail given by the question. So we can say that the incident angle for both diagram is the same. So I can put I for 5.1, okay, is the same as the incident angle in diagram 5.2. But R in diagram 5.1, which is the glass block, right, is bigger than R in 5.2, which is for diamond. Okay, next one. So they also give here the speed of light in the glass block and then speed of light in diamond. So I can write C for glass block and then C for diamond. So can see that 2 times 10, 8. And then here is 1.25 times 10 to the power of 8. So it means that in the glass block, C is bigger compared to diamond. Okay, the first question asking what phenomena is this? This is refraction. Okay, ejaan make sure betul lah. Refract. F-R-A-C. Refraction. Okay, jangan salah eja. Jangan tulis R-E-F-R-E-C. This one salah, huh? Alright, so this is wrong. Be careful with this. This one correct. Now, based on diagram 5.1, 5.2, compare the speed of light and then the angle and then the refractive index. Okay, terus tulis ikut yang cikgu dah tulis just now. So, the first one is speed of light in the glass block and diamond. So, this one is the answer. So, you can write speed of light in glass block is bigger than the speed of light in diamond. So, that is the first mark for B1. And then the angle, this one. So no need, don't use the symbol lah, tulis betul lah. So the angle R, right? So angle R for glass block is bigger than diamond. Then the last one is about the speed of light. The refractive index. Okay, so refractive index, is it given? Not given. So how do you know which one has greater refractive index? So refractive index N, alright, N is actually equal to speed of light in vacuum divided by speed of light in medium. Okay, so in medium. So it means that if let's say the refractive index is bigger, so the speed of light in medium will be smaller. Okay, so here we can say that when you see the speed of light in diamond is smaller, right? Smaller. So it means that the refractive index for diamond will be bigger compared to the glass block. So the answer is refractive index for diamond is bigger. Alright, so here boleh tulis refractive index for diamond is bigger compared to refractive index of the glass block. So don't use the symbol N here, tulis dengan penuh lah. Tulis, you can, boleh tulis. But then just to be safe, just write like that. Okay, refractive index for diamond is bigger. Okay, next question. So state the relationship between the speed of light and the angle of refraction. So here can use symbol because they give you symbol. So when V increases, what happened to R? And then next one is state the relationship between refractive index and the speed of light. So when N increases, what happened to V? So can look at this. So we want to know what is the relationship between V and R. Okay, so from here we know that when V is bigger, R will be bigger. So you can write the greater the speed of light, the greater the refracted angle. And then another one is for relationship between refractive index and the speed, right? So can do like this. So this part B smaller, can put just arrow like that, and then here N bigger. So another, you can write the greater the refractive index, the smaller the speed of light. Okay, that is to answer this question, this part. Okay, boleh? So means that the greater V, the greater the refractive index. And then as for this question, so the greater the refractive index, the smaller the speed of light. Okay, so that will be the method. Now, next question. So this is still under Kelantan paper. So diagram 5.1 shows the situation where Ahmad see image of a fish in the water. See image. Okay, so the one that given here, this one need to be careful. So here we have Ahmad, and then here is the image, not the object. This is the image of the fish seen by Ahmad. So in diagram shows two light rays to determine the actual. Now you want to determine the object. Okay, so the actual position of the fish. Okay, how to draw this? How to draw this? We look at this first. So let's say the object is given. Okay, let's say this is water, right? So this is water. And then the fish is in the water. So the observer is outside like that. So the object, let's say this is the object. Alright. So first you need to draw a ray from the object to the surface of the water like that. So this ray will be having refraction. You draw the normal line, should be chun-chun like that. And then it will bend away from the normal line because water is denser compared to the air. So means that the light will bend away from the normal line like that. So one ray is not enough, so you need to have to draw another ray. Okay, like that. Sengit, just sengit like that. Should be using ruler. And the light will go like that to the observer. Okay, so you can see that. So we have two sets of light. Okay, so normally, let's say you need to ask to draw this diagram. So this will be first mark, second mark. Then the image, you need to lengthen the two rays. Okay, lengthen, panjangkan, like that. Lengthen, garis putus-putus. So here will be the position of the image. Okay, so this is the image of the fish. Now, okay, the question that we have, the Kelantan paper, so the image already drawn. So you need to draw the object. Okay, referring to this diagram again. So the object should be drawn under the image. Okay, di bawah image. So it means that here we need to draw image di bawah. As long as your image is under the object, that will give you, I think, mark number 2 marks. Selalunya 3 markah, but then here tak apa. So you need to draw the object under the image. So here is the object. Okay. Right. Then use your ruler. Just pick one point on the image. Okay. So you draw straight line. Okay. Draw like this. Okay. Outside the water, you draw straight line. In the water, still straight line, but using dotted line to the point that you mark just now. Lah. Sengit sikit lah. And then you need to have this also, another ray. And then terus lurus, dotted line lah. So this line should be straight line. Okay, straight line. Outside the water, you use solid line. Here also solid line. Dalam air, you use dotted line. Then from this point, okay, sambung to the object. So means that like this. To the object. And then here also sengit lah to the object. Then here you just draw your normal line like that. And then the arrow should be from the object to the eyes. Pergi ke mata. Like that. So here, the two sets of light, that one will be mark 1. And then your object should be mark 2. Please label this as object. Okay. Alright. So make sure you know how to draw the ray diagram from the object, okay, to the eyes to determine the image, and also from image to determine the object. Okay, so caranya hampir sama kan? Boleh ingat, right? Hopefully, try your best, alright? So that is 2 marks. Next, SBP 2020. So this is question number 9. Question number 9. So means that section B, the essay question. Okay. Also refraction of light. So diagram 9.1 and diagram 9.2 shows identical boat pedal partially immersed in the lake water and sea water. So this is lake water. This is sea water, and focus on the pedal, half immersed, separuh tenggelam. Then look at the question. So I can see the obvious here, ada pembengkokkan, right? This part. So diagram 9.3 shows refractive index and the speed of light in the lake water and in sea water. So refractive index, they give you number like that. Okay. And then the speed of light also like that. Okay, so you can do just like we did just now. So we have the refractive index means that N for the lake means that diagram 9.1, and then N for the C. This is diagram 9.2. So look at the value given. So obvious, C has greater refractive index. And then in terms of speed of light, in the lake, and then speed of light in the sea. So can see that this is, look at the prefix index, 10 here also, 8, sorry, 10 to the power of 8. So this is 2.25, so means that in the lake is faster, like that. Okay, so the speed of light in the lake is faster compared to in at the sea. Now look at the question. So choose correct answer. Choose correct answer in bracket to complete the sentence below. So phenomenon in 9.1 and 9.2 happen because of the change in what? Velocity ke frequency? It should be velocity. Okay, kelajuan. Okay, so light bend when it travel through different optical density medium due to the change in velocity. So remember the definition that we discussed earlier. Now, based on diagram 9.1, 9.2, okay, compare. When you compare, you can look at not only the difference, but you can look at the similarities also. So compare the refractive index of lake water and sea water, bending of the pedal, and the speed of light in lake water and sea water. Then after that, you need to relate the speed of light and refractive index. Then state physics concept related to the situation given. So this one, of course, it is refraction. Ejaan, make sure betul. Now, so this is a 5 marks question. So means that here, comparing the refractive index is mark 1. Then the bending of pedal, this is mark 2, and then the speed of light is mark 3, and then relate these two. So this is mark number 4, and then the phenomena is mark number 5. Okay, now how do we answer this? So since this is in essay question, you can write in point form with complete sentence, ataupun you can also draw table. What I mean is like this. Okay, like this. You can write table like this. Okay, so where you have 3 column, for the lake water and then sea water. Then this will be the aspect. Okay, so number 1 is the refractive index. Okay, I'm using symbol, but make sure you write complete word. So refractive index, and then the second one is bending of pedal. Okay, so I just put here bending of pedal. Malas cikgu nak tulis. Make sure you know. Okay, bending of pedal. Then speed of light. Speed of light. I'm using symbol, but make sure you all write in full word. Okay, ayat perkataan yang lengkap. Next one here. So by referring to this that we already made just now, alright. So N for leg, refractive index for leg is smaller. Alright, and then the refractive index for the sea water is greater. Okay, and then for the velocity, speed of light in the leg is greater, like that. Okay, so when you compare like this is considered a full sentence actually. See, the refractive index of lake water is smaller than the sea water. So this is considered as ayat penuh lah. So when like this, so here is your mark number 1, tick 1, and then this is tick 2, this is tick 3. And then when you want to relate relationship, tulis di luar jadual like this. Alright, like this. So the greater the speed of light, the smaller the refractive index. So this is tick number 4. Now, for the relationship question, jangan tulis about the lake or the sea water. Okay, for this question, relate. Okay, just write general like that. Okay, just write the greater the speed of light, the greater the refractive index. Don't refer to lake water or sea water anymore. Okay, just write general like that. Okay, and please write short sentence. Jangan tulis panjang-panjang. So you just write short sentence. Easier for marker to give you mark. Okay, so we are not testing you on your language. We are testing you on your concept. Alright, make it easy. Make it simple. Sorry. Okay, still SBP question. They are similar to Terengganu and also Kelantan paper. So 9.3 shows turtle in empty aquarium. Empty aquarium means no water lah. And then diagram 9.4 shows aquarium filled with water, causing the image of turtle seen bigger. So this one with water. Okay, and then the first diagram, no water. Okay, so can see that the turtle, this is the object. Alright, so means that this one is the object because no water. And then this is what second diagram showing. This is the image. Image nampak besar. Alright, now look at the question. So explain the situation. Explain, and then state your explanation using a ray diagram. Okay, ray diagram. So I already paste here. Okay, how mark is given for 4 marks. Okay, so look at the first mark. So light travel from turtle in water, higher density into A, which has low density. So this is mark 1. Okay, so means that light travel from the water to the air. Then you see the second mark is for light bend away from the normal. Okay, and then the third mark is straight line. Okay, lengthen it straight line. Okay, to see the image. So this is mark number 3. And then number 4, causing image form above the object. So this one can be shown by diagram. So this is mark number 4. So this is the diagram. So this is similar to Terengganu paper that we discussed just now. Alright, similar to this. Okay, look at this one. Alright, so look at this. So coin here is the turtle lah. Turtle just now, right? Okay, so you can write turtle. TLE, turtle. Alright, so then the light here, so you can see this light from the object, okay, go to the surface of the water and then bend. We have another light from the surface of the water to the from the object to the surface of the water and then bend away from the normal line. So this is considered as mark number 1. Okay, light travel from the object which is in the water, okay, out from the water. Mark number 1. And then mark number 2, bending. Okay, bending of light at this point, here. okay, bend away from the normal line. So it means that this set of light, like this, right? Like that, sengit, so that can be given both mark, okay, mark 1 and mark 2, the bending. And then mark number 3, here, the dotted line here, showing that from our view, the light is actually in a straight line, okay? That is mark number 3. And then mark number 4, what is now? Oh yeah, the straight. Kejap, cikgu pun lupa. Wait. Let's see. Oh, mark number 4 is the position. Okay, so can see the apparent depth is smaller than the real depth. So means that here, the apparent depth is smaller. This is the apparent depth is smaller compared to the real depth. So that's why you see the image is bigger. So the object is actually down here, but the image is up here. So can see that look like the image is bigger. Boleh faham? Can or not? Can we draw like this or not? Okay, like this also can be given mark lah. Okay, like this pun boleh terima. Okay, means that the observer you draw at the side pun boleh. Okay, because here can show you that light travel, but make sure label lah. This is water, and then this is the air. So mark number 1 memang dah dapat markah because you put your arrow already. So means that light travel from the water to the air. Okay, because you have the arrow here. And the mark number 2, bending. So you show the normal line. So the dotted line here is normal line kan? And then can see the light bend. Alright, light bend. Nampak jelas. Light go like that and then bend. Okay, so the arrow showing that light travel from the water to the air and then can see bend. So means that this is mark 1 and mark 2. And then mark 3, kejap, mark, this is still under mark 1, go like that and then sengit lah. Go up and then sengit. So mark 3 is this, the dotted line, okay, showing that light, okay, by the observer eye see light travel in straight line. So that is mark number 3. And then the position of the image, okay, mark number 4 plus this, can see that the apparent depth D is smaller compared to the real depth, capital D. Okay, so hopefully boleh faham. Okay, SBP, still SBP question. Look at D. So showing, diagram shows a crack on an internal wall surface in a car engine. So the crack cannot be seen from outside. Here ada crack dekat dalam but cannot be seen from outside. So this is the crack. Okay, but from outside here we can't see the crack. Okay, suggest a design of a device that can be insert. This is the keyword. Insert, dimasukkan into the car engine. So by using this device, the mechanic can see the internal wall surface of the car engine in order to detect the fault areas such as crack or rust, karat, without need to dismantle the engine compartment. Maksudnya tak perlu buka engine compartment. Alright, now, so state and explain the modification based on the aspects such as, they give you guideline, type of cable, the characteristic of the cable used, and the addition features needed to display clear image, and the maneuverable, okay, in the coil space of the car engine. Sekali tengok macam menakutkan like this question, but then not that hard. Okay, think carefully, fikirkan, since this question number 9 is about refraction. So means that this is actually from chapter light. Okay, if chapter light, try to think about what is important in chapter light. Okay, do you remember the fiber optic? Fiber optic able to transfer signal with minimum loss. Okay, so something to do with fiber optic. Okay, so these are the answer. Cikgu pun ada edit sikit marking scheme that means that what you can write for your answer, right? Now you look at the aspect given. So the aspect is quite simple, where you see they write here as type of cable, the characteristic of cable use, additional features that needed to display clear image, and the maneuverable of the coil in the coil space of the car engine. Okay, so here cikgu already do like this. Okay, so to at least give you idea. So when talking about cable, alright, so you need to think about what type, okay, what type of cable that can be used. And then for the characteristic, okay, look at the physical characteristics. So you can write about the length, can write about the diameter, can write about the density, the strength of the cable, and then the flexibility of the cable. Alright, so after you do some create your idea, generate your idea like this, okay, by using mind mapping, then you can write your answer like that. Okay, so it's good to make it a practice to write in 3 columns. Alright, so here can see the first column is about the aspect. Okay, aspect, then characteristic or suggestion, and then the explanation. Okay, so type of cable should be fiber optic. So this is 1 mark. And then reason. So fiber optic, so that total internal reflection can occur. So this is mark number 2. And then the length of the cable should be longer cable. Okay, so can inspect deep part of the engine. Okay, mark number 4. This is mark number 3. And then the diameter means that you use thin wire, thin cable. So this is tick number 5. Can enter narrow space in the engine, tick number 6. And then the strength of the cable should be stronger cable. So the word, the strength here, so this one boleh memorize it. Okay, stronger, will not break easily. Tulis like that. So tick 7, tick 8. Then the density of the cable should be smaller density cable. So this is tick 9. Smaller density means smaller mass, lighter, easy to carry around. So this is tick number 10. So this is a 10 marks question, but you can write more. Boleh tulis lebih. Okay, dengan syarat jangan contradict. And then here addition feature higher power lamp. Okay, so tick number 11. So it should be brighter image. Brighter image. Okay, so tick number 12. And then to maneuver in the coil space of the car, so use flexible cable. So tick number 13. Can bend easily, tick number 14. So of course the maximum mark can get will be only 10 lah, 10 maximum marks. Alright, so I think this will be the end of this video. Inshallah, there will be part 2. Alright, so stay tuned. Focus. Don't give up. Okay, try to master the technique of answering, and also pray hard. Okay, pray for your friend also. Inshallah, you will get good result. Aamiin Ya Rabbal Alamin. Okay, see you in next lesson. Inshallah. Bye bye.